Vicky Marie, good morning. Oh, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So yeah, I've been wanting to do this video, this story since this was really yesterday. This came out about Patrick Stephenson. So for those of you who don't know, new members, maybe new subscribers on my channel, maybe you don't know about the Samantha Murphy story that we've been following since last February. This is this poor family of Samantha Murphy, who was murdered last February 2024. You know, this is this long path her family are going towards for justice, and there's a lot of facets involved in this case that I'm going to explain in a minute. And one of the sort of nuances of it, if you like, one of the things that I think are relevant to the main charges against the alleged perpetrator is the fact that just before Samantha Murphy was murdered, the October before she was murdered in the February, the alleged perpetrator was arrested for driving under the influence. He had quite a severe accident. He was hospitalized, but no action was taken against him, which I personally feel that if proper action would have been taken against Patrick Stephenson, then maybe Samantha Murphy would still be alive now. Now, he has pled guilty now to that charge. Why is he only just being charged for that now, when it happened in October of 2023, before Samantha was murdered? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I am going to explain a little bit about, you know, the story so far about Samantha Murphy. We're going to be following this story right through to the day that justice finally comes for her. But, you know, it's a long, long process and must be so difficult for a family. And also her remains, although the police are convinced she is dead and they've charged Patrick with her murder, he is not cooperating with the police and her remains have not been found. And this happened in Ballarat in Australia last February. So we're coming up to it's nearly a year. This family have just faced their first Christmas without their wife, their mum. You know, she's a mother of 3 children, was just out for a jog and disappeared. And then finally someone's been charged with a murder. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank all my subscribers, everyone who likes my videos, everybody who watches. Let me put my banner on just briefly. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed already, please think about subscribing. That's a free way you can support my channel. And don't forget to press the notification bell if you want to be kept updated on new videos, anything that comes out on this case, for example, or any of the other cases that we cover. Make sure your notifications bell is pressed after you've subscribed. So I also want to thank, where am I? So yeah, people who've bought me a Ko-fi, who've PayPal me, very special thanks as always to my members. We had our members live last night. Every Thursday night is members live. Thank you to people that gift memberships. Thank you to anyone who supports my channel in any way, shape or form. So I'm going to go and say hello to the people that are in the chat at the moment, but I also want to say hello to you lurkers, you fellow lurkers out there, lurkers like me. For those of you who are watching on Replay Crew, and yeah, anyone who's watching at any time, hi. So who've we got in chat? Hi, old hippie. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Angel. Hi, Laurie. Hi, Daniel. Yeah, David's, where is David? Yeah. Poor David. He's probably, you know, got things to do and we're questioning where he is. Hi, Musical. Yes. He's pled guilty to his driving offence. I have put that in the description that, that this is what this is about. No, he hasn't pled guilty to murdering Samantha. I still think he may do that later. There's a lot to come about that, and we're going to talk about that anyway. So let me just let you know, for those who don't know, or for those who knew, but maybe, it's been a long time since we've had any news about this case. The police are playing everything so close to their chest. They must have, apparently they've got an unprecedented amount of CCTV evidence against Patrick. Let's have a look at him. Now, I think another thing that's sort of coming out at the moment, this is how Patrick was portrayed when Patrick was first arrested. Patrick was 22 when he was arrested. He's an all-Australian boy. He's an electrician. His father was an Australian football player. And this is, I think, a reason why this boy was not tried for this particular crime at the time, because I think his family have probably got quite a lot of influence in a small place like Ballarat, or just on the outskirts there. Football players seem to be looked upon as some sort of gods. He was his dad's son, probably the apple of his eye, chip off the old block, and this is what he looked like then. Doesn't look like that now. Looks nothing like that now. Anyway, so I think there was generally, a massive shock in the area when he was arrested. People say silly things. Oh, well, why would a 23-year-old, attack a 50-odd-year-old woman? Well, do you know what? These people, they don't have reasons. He was probably, well, we don't know, actually. I'm not going to speculate about that. We don't know the full circumstances. The police know it as much as they can. They're said to have an unprecedented amount of CCTV camera footage. And I don't think we're going to see any of that or find any of that out until the trial, which is going to be it'll be later this year, but still a long time coming, isn't it? It's very frustrating, for us just following the case. Goodness knows how it is for Samantha's family. It must be absolutely awful. So this lad who on these photos, looks like the all-American boy, very wholesome. He had a girlfriend. His girlfriend is standing by him, as are his family. They don't believe that he could possibly, their little Patrick couldn't possibly have committed this awful crime. The police have got it wrong. They've got the wrong person. I'd be very surprised if they've got the wrong person, because they wouldn't have arrested him without a lot of evidence, would they? That's my thoughts on it anyway. So this is what it looks like now. Now, I can't show you the whole thing. I'm probably not even really supposed to show that, because when he appears in court, although you can watch these court appearances, you can't share photos and things. So, but that is an actual photo of Patrick, but I've blurred out his face. But you can see that beard that he's sporting. Apparently, there's some sort of speculation. Has he converted to the Muslim faith? Has he converted to Islam? Apparently, it's quite a common thing that prisoners do, because then the other Muslims in the prison protect them. Now, look how stocky he is now. He's massive now. Although on those other photos, you can see, he's wiry. You can tell he's a boy who does sports and what have you. But, he's what you would call wiry, isn't he? But quite slender. Now he's built like a brick house, maybe to protect himself in prison, hey. And he's grown this massive beard, and his hair looks darker as well. But, that can be something that comes with age, isn't it? Because he looks looks more blonder there, or maybe it's just being out of the sun. If your hair's naturally sort of dark, but sometimes when you go in the sun, when you're out in the sun a lot, it lightens up or gets blonde streaks. And unfortunately I missed the trial yesterday. I forgot that it was on, otherwise I would have got the link and watched it. But this picture from the last appearance that he made, and you know, yeah, he looks completely different, and his face is much harder. He looks much older than, you know, he just looks like a boy on those other photos. So he's 20, he is still a boy in my eyes, but anyway, he's 23, he's not a boy, he's a man, but he's still very young. So basically what happened in this case was poor Samantha literally got up. She was training for a marathon. She got up one morning, she cleared up after her dog for the very last time. That's the last CCTV footage that was taken of Samantha. Said she was going for a jog for about an hour and she never came back home. And then, of course, her family, she was supposed to be back for a family brunch that morning. Her husband, Mick, raised the alarm. They were searching for her, couldn't find her. Terrible, just disappeared, and she has never been found. So at first the police said there was no evidence of criminality. You know, they like to say that, don't they, in the beginning? Absolutely no suspicious circumstances, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Well, they were obviously making their inquiries at the time. Then they said, yes, there were some suspicious circumstances, that they believed that Samantha had been attacked and murdered while she was out for her run. But again, they didn't really tell us why they thought that. Now, she was wearing, I think it was an Apple Watch or one of those kind of Fitbit type things. So they've obviously, you know, took information from there. So then the police announced that, yes, they were treating it as a murder. They felt that she had been murdered. And that was the next thing they announced. And then very shortly after that, they arrested Patrick Stephenson. As I say, 22 years old at the time, an apprentice electrician, I think, a tradesman, the son of this football player, Orren Stephenson, famous in his day. You know, I don't think he played that much football for Australia, but enough for him to be a sort of minor celebrity. And yeah, so then the whole, you know, everyone was in shock that this young lad could have done this. But when we look to see about the way Patrick Stephenson enjoyed his nights out, maybe we might understand it a little better. So actually, I'm going to show you a video, which we have looked at before. Let's look at it again. Of how Patrick Stephenson would enjoy his nights out. I've got to take that off. Hang on. So this is Patrick on a night out. Dude, it's quite strange really, because he doesn't look anything like that anymore, does he? Let me just play that again. So you can see on this particular night, one of his friends, I think, had taken this video, probably sold it to the newspaper. You can see he looks absolutely off his head, and we can imagine that's how he was when he crashed his motorbike into a tree, which is the case that he's just pled guilty to. We're going to look at that case. And is that he was out the night before Samantha disappeared? Is that the sort of state he was in when he was coming home? Did he act? A lot of people think he didn't act alone. Did he act alone? We don't know. The police say they think he acted alone, but the police, we've come to realise that the Australian police, and I don't blame him for doing it, they keep their cards close to their chest. Maybe they do think other people were involved. Because looking at Patrick like that, you do sort of think, God, does he look capable of doing anything? But, you know, people like Patrick, if it turns out that Patrick is guilty, that wouldn't have been the last time that he attacked a woman. You know, he's a young lad. He's on the sort of start of his serial killer life. In my opinion, these men, they start sort of quite young, maybe even 18, 19, which you can hardly get your head around, can you? But so anyway, he's been caught and he's in prison, which is good. So at least for the moment, women are safe around Ballarat, aren't they? But, you know, whether he'd be found guilty or not, that's what we have to wait and see. But you can see he looks absolutely off his trolley there, doesn't he? So let me just say hello to people. Hi, Matthew. I just go back to the people that I've missed. Yeah. Exactly. Everyone thought Ted Bundy is nice. I think this is a big problem, you know, that people do not expect people who look like Patrick to do bad things. You know, they think it'll be perhaps he looks a bit scarier now, doesn't he? I mean, you know, if you look at what he looks like now, people might be more, you know, more ready to believe that he could do, you know, looks completely different now. People might be more ready to believe now that he did something bad. But the way he looked then, even on this video, which of course, you know, he's totally off his tree, but he still looks quite young, doesn't he, and fresh-faced. You know, people can't believe, people seem to go on looks as if, you know, these type of monsters can only be ugly people, or, you know, I don't know, people that come from good homes, all Australian boys, all American boys, all British boys, or, you know, it's not only foreigners who commit crimes, it's not only people that you would think look bad that commit crimes. You know, some of the worst crimes are committed by people who have normal family lives, maybe have a wife, children. You know, lots of serial killers. Look at BTK, and they so often. So yeah, I do think there is a problem that people think what murderers should look like. But anyway. Hi, David. Good to see you. Everybody worries about you when you're not here. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, David. Hi, Darren. Hi, Pam. So, oh, good for you, musical. I don't know about Paul Denyer, I don't think. But yeah, evil people, exactly. They don't go around announcing it. Someone like Ted Bundy, that's how he got women to get into his cars, to help into his car. That's how he got young girls to help him. You know, he would put a plaster cast on, wouldn't he, and pretend he'd broken his arm, and can you just help me carry this? And these girls, they would help him because didn't look as if he would do any damage, or he would pretend to be a police officer or whatever. Anyway, so one day, people, you cannot trust anybody, unfortunately. And sometimes the nicest people just, you know, they don't look as if they are the nicest people, if you see what I'm saying. I never forget once at a supermarket here in Spain when my friend was over on holiday and we couldn't get the car going. And this guy came up, and honest God, he was really scary looking. You know, he was like built like a don't know what. He had tattoos everywhere and piercings and you name it. And he came, he had these like dungarees on, I remember. And he came over and said, "Oh, can I help?" And I'm going to my friend, no, because I'm just so suspicious. And she's like, "Oh yeah, please, you know, something's wrong." Anyway, he opened up the bonnet, he fixed whatever it was, and off we went. You know, he was a lovely guy. He was trying to help us, but because of the way he looked, he was a bit scary. He also, I think he was Bulgarian or something. He was Eastern European. And, you know, it's awful, isn't it? I feel awful. It was my fear, you know, what if he'd have come up and he had a suit on, and that would have thought, oh yeah, let him help. But I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit at a point where I don't let anyone help because I'm just suspicious of everybody, even a woman. You know, I've you know, seen too many crime videos. But I do remember that, and I felt awful afterwards, and I thought, you know what, that guy, he was just trying to help, and you judged him by his appearance. But you know, sometimes it's difficult not to, isn't it? You know, our eyes are the first, when we see someone, you know, our eyes are the first thing that register what they look like. You make an instant decision, don't you? Then hopefully, you know, obviously as you get to know them more, your opinion can change. Then maybe your feelings start to come into it more. But in the beginning, I think you just first look at someone and first impressions. It's human nature, isn't it? You know, so it's difficult not to do that. But anyway, so yeah, here's Patrick. Is a young, clean-cut guy. He's got a girlfriend. He comes from a good family. You know, he's training to be an electrician. There's no reason to think that he's, you know, got any badness in his mind. Even the fact that he's out here acting like an idiot. But that's what young people do, isn't it? Young people take drugs. They go out. They get drunk. They do things like that. That doesn't mean to say they're going to be a murderer, does it? So, but it just does show another side to him, I think. Yeah, don't forget to say hi to Nightbot. Okay, so I wanted to just show you that video. And I think I might have another video that I wanted to show you before we carry on. Let me just check. Yeah, so that was him partying. Now, I have got videos of his court appearances, Patrick, but I'm not allowed to show them, so I can't show them. But I think I'm going to show this interview with Mick, Samantha's husband. Now, because I really do feel strongly that if when Patrick had this drunk driving charge, you know, when it first happened, if it would have been dealt with properly, I think Samantha might still be alive. I really do, because I feel that because of the fact of Patrick's family and the fact he doesn't seem like, you know, doesn't look like what you would assume to be a bad person. I think that's why he got away with it. And he wouldn't have got away with it if he would have been from a different kind of family, I think. So let's just have a look at
Deep in forest surrounding Ballarat. For hours, he hunts for any clues, always thinking of his soulmate.
Samantha.
So this was an interview that was done with Mick shortly after Patrick was arrested and charged. But of course, you know, poor Mick and the family, they haven't been able to bring Samantha home and give her a burial. And this is what this horrible lad, you know, to me, I know, you know, his family is sticking by him, his girlfriend is sticking by him. They don't believe he can possibly have done this. It reminds me of the Delphi case, of lots of other cases. I think, you've got to think, why would the police have arrested him? They would not have arrested him unless they've got a lot of evidence against him. And apparently they've got unprecedented amount of CCTV footage and digital evidence against him. I personally think it's a matter of time before he gives up where Samantha is and pleads guilty. I don't think he's going to get off with this crime. I think he's just keeping it going as long as possible, because the longer, he thinks while the body's not been found, that it's always a weaker case, isn't it? And also, if there was any SEX attack on Samantha, well, probably all that forensic evidence has gone now. I don't know really how it works. If he did assault her or in an SEX way, will the DNA now be gone? Because unfortunately, the hard, cold truth is that even if they find Samantha, she will have decomposed so much, there won't be so much evidence.
Beautiful lady, hence why I married her. We were married for 26 years, and our anniversary was on the 21st of February. So it's a bit of a hard time when you first time that you've got your partner with you.
It's been more than 9 weeks since Samantha Murphy went out for a regular jog and never returned.
So this was the last CCTV. That was Samantha that morning. She got ready for a jog. She went and cleared up after the dog. When I see Mick being interviewed like this, you can tell he doesn't feel comfortable being interviewed. But when he talks about Samantha, it's like he's quite shy, but, the love that he has for Samantha just shines through, doesn't it?
Leaving behind 3 children and a heartbroken husband.
For someone so good to be gone out of the community, it's, pretty hard. As a husband, she's always good to us and good mum.
For the first time, Mick recounts the morning his life changed forever. When he began worrying, something bad had happened.
I give her a call and there was no answer on her phone, went straight to message bank, and that's when I thought, that's odd. That's very odd, because she has her phone and her watch fully charged before she leaves.
After days of searching turned to weeks, Samantha still hasn't been found. Her disappearance has shocked people across Australia, but particularly here in Ballarat, where the couple have called home since first meeting at Mick's favourite pub in...
It's funny, that picture of them when they were younger, neither of them have really changed that much, have they? They both look exactly the same. But anyway, it was especially hard for Mick because, of course, he was a suspect as well in the beginning. The husband partner, right or wrong, is always the first suspect in a disappearance like this, isn't it? So it must have been especially hard. It's hard enough to lose your loved one, or your loved one be missing, etc., and wonder what's happened to them. And then also knowing that you are prime suspect. I expect he was prime suspect in the beginning. He's bound to be. So he will have been investigated, and then and he was. I mean, the police went into the home, they went into the business, what is it they got? They've got a car business, haven't they? Not car business, car, what do you call it? Car wrecking business. Together, they went in there, examined that. And there was a lot of aspersions cast against Mick, because that, unfortunately, is the way it is. And I'm sure he understood that, but he would have just wanted them to get that out of the way and get to looking at as to who actually did. So it was a massive shock when Patrick Stephenson was arrested, wasn't it? It was a bolt from the blue. He'd never been mentioned as a suspect. He didn't seem to have any connection to Samantha or to Mick or to the family, maybe a loose connection to one of Samantha's daughters, who's a similar age. But yeah, so it was a massive shock, but it must have been a relief as well for Mick. And not only that the perpetrator hopefully was caught, but that finally, you know, there was people wouldn't be looking twice at him.
Nearby Gordon.
We were friends for quite a period of time.
Yeah, musical, that's it, a panel beater. No, David, Patrick's girlfriend is standing by him, apparently.
And then one thing led to another. We moved in and, you know, and sold one house and renovated another house and sold that. And then Jess come along, a few years down the track, Millie come along. And then Liam popped up and life was really good. And then, yeah, this comes into our lives.
He's a grieving husband, but for weeks after his wife vanished, Mick was also a suspect.
I'd had verbal abuse and then social media and all that sort of thing. Not that I go near it, but there's, you know, it was pretty confronting. You start second guessing yourself. You know that you've done nothing wrong. This whole scenario, you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy.
22-year-old Patrick Stephenson has no connection to the Murphy family. He was arrested in March and charged with the 51-year-old's murder.
Once they told me that they arrested the accused, I was, yeah, a big relief.
9 News has been told he isn't cooperating with detectives. Mick says he has every faith in those detectives on Samantha's case. Police admit the search for Samantha is complex. They have hundreds of tips from the public to work through, along with mobile phone data and the vast and difficult terrain they have to look through. Investigators say there is a number of targeted searches planned for the coming weeks. Mick knows the heartache is a life sentence, but he lives in hope that the ongoing search will bring Samantha home.
Kind, caring, loyal, offer her help to anyone at any time. So that's, yeah, and always smiling and happy and, you know, so that's just what people to remember Sam, how she was.
And Gillian Lantouris joins us now from Ballarat. Jill, locals are gathering there for a vigil in memory of 3 murdered women. It is a show of...
Yeah, so there were 3 women murdered in Ballarat all around the same time, weren't there? So this was a vigil that was being held there
for the community, for the victims' families.
Okay, so let's have a look at what happened yesterday at court. What has Patrick pled guilty to? And in fact, he's been found guilty. But honestly, let me read it out to you because it just makes me angry. I don't think he's, you know, really could be given a sentence for what he did, but never mind, he hasn't been. So we're in the Daily Mail. Let me try and get rid of some of the, you know, these all sorts of adverts will pop up. Sorry about that. So a major update on Sam Murphy's alleged killer as he appears in court and unveils a dramatic change. Now, we've seen that picture. He does look completely different than he did before. So Patrick Orren Stephenson has appeared in court. He's charged with murdering Ballarat mum Samantha Murphy. The man accused of murdering Ballarat mum Samantha Murphy has stunned court attendees with his appearance on separate charges on Thursday. Sorry, that's the dog that's sneezing. What's the matter? It's got the sneezes. Patrick Orren Stephenson, 24 now, fronted Ballarat Magistrates Court on Thursday via a video link. I'm really annoyed that I missed that because I like to watch, you know, I like to have a look and see what he looked like, but I saw him last time, which wasn't, to be honest, the last time was, I think, November, was it? And it might have even been December, actually. So it's not been that long that's passed since the last one. So he pled guilty to a series of driving offences, dressed in a fancy R.M. Williams top. Oh, God, I'm so angry that I missed that because I would have liked to have had a look at that. The alleged killer sported a long woolly beard in the style common amongst devout Muslim men. So has he converted? Has he become a Muslim? It was a major change of appearance for Stephenson, who was clean shaven when he was charged. Well, yeah, but he wasn't clean shaven in the last court appearance. He had that beard in the last one, so they must have missed that. 5 weeks after Miss Murphy's alleged murder. While it is unclear if Stephenson has converted to Islam while behind bars, such a decision is not unusual for vulnerable prisoners who do so for protection by other Muslims in the jail. No, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. If they're not Muslim when they go in, they shouldn't be able to convert to one while they're in there. Just for their own advantage. Stephenson, an apprentice electrician, remains caged within the Melbourne Assessment Prison while awaiting a Supreme Court trial on the murder charge. Yeah, so we're not sure if we'll get a video link to the to the actual murder trial when that starts. Not sure if we'll be able to watch that by video link or whatever. Anyway, Stephenson, an apprentice electrician, remains... Oh, I've just read that, sorry. In November, that was when the last one was. November, he pled not guilty to the murder of Miss Murphy. So he already had his beard there. That photo I showed you before, that was from November, whose disappearance on February the 4th triggered a long and fruitless search around Ballarat in Western Victoria. I'll tell you what, when it does come to his sentencing, if he's found guilty, I hope they take all this into account, how he's wasted police time, wasted money, whereas he could just say where she is. On Thursday, he pled guilty to drink, drug and careless driving, for which he was convicted and fined $2,500. So, yeah, this is what it looked like before. Let's have another reminder about what he looks like now, because I think it is a dramatic change. Absolute dramatic change, isn't it? If you look at that, that is him, but just with the face blocked out. He's much stockier. He's got this great big beard, long hair. His hair's a lot darker. There you go. So, yeah, he's really, really has changed his appearance. So, the court heard that Stephenson was found lying on the road in the early hours of October the 1st, 2023. So, Samantha went missing in February 2024. If he would have been punished properly, he would not have been able to be out there, kidnapping Samantha and doing whatever he did to her. So, I think this is relevant to why was this case not heard before? Why has it took all this time? I think it's definitely because he's like this old Australian boy and it wasn't taken seriously enough at the time. And the crash left Stephenson, the son of former Richmond and Geelong AFL player Orren Stephenson, with serious injuries that required 2 weeks of hospital treatment. So he was sort of, unfortunately, it wasn't lucky for Samantha, but he was lucky that he didn't die in that accident. Those injuries included a fractured vertebrae, lacerated spleen, broken pelvis and ribs, and minor head trauma. So I feel like I can feel, if it comes up to the time where he thinks he's not going to escape being found guilty, is it going to be this, oh, well, it was the head injuries that affected him? You feel like you can hear in advance what the defence is going to be saying, that it's because of these head injuries or whatever. Anyway, police allege he would go on to murder Miss Murphy just 3 months later, despite his injuries. Stephenson's lawyer, Moya O'Brien, told the court her client still suffered from those injuries, which had seen him return to hospital while behind bars. I do find it very difficult to feel sorry for him, because he has murdered a woman, allegedly. So the court heard Stephenson had lost control on a bend, going into a slide that left him crippled on the road. Now, this makes me think, is this possible? That something like this is what happened to Samantha? Did he crash into her? Maybe he didn't abduct her in the sense, of an sex attack or whatever. Samantha was out there running on the road. He was coming back from a night out. He had been out that night before. Is this another thing that happened? Similar thing? Did he lose control? Run Samantha over and kill her, and then there was a cleanup operation? That's a possibility as well, isn't it? And police who attended the crash claimed that Patrick was so drunk they could not make any sense of what he was saying. So just reading this now, I'm thinking it makes it even more, more likely. Now, the police, as you said earlier, David, the police did say they believed it was a targeted attack, not an accident. And we don't know why they're saying that. But, we just don't know why they're saying that, but we'll find out, I suppose, sooner or later. So maybe it wasn't an accident. The police have said they don't think it was an accident, but it's just reading this, you think, was it? He was was he in that condition that night? He'd been out that night. What was he even doing hanging around at 6 o'clock in the morning? Was he actually even looking for Samantha? Had he seen Samantha before running that way? Or looking for a woman, to target. Maybe he was looking for a woman, and unfortunately for Samantha, it was her, but it could have been somebody else. On arrival at hospital, Stephenson was found to have a blood alcohol reading of 0.148, almost 3 times the legal limit. Also, this is Mick leaving court. And he didn't make it in the last hearing, he wouldn't make a comment. He was also found with traces of MDMA, commonly referred to as ecstasy. Well, we saw in that video, he likes to take recreational drugs. Stephenson had been serving a 2-year good behaviour bond at the time for a previous driving offence. And Miss O'Brien told the court that Stephenson retained the support of his parents and his long-time girlfriend. It's undoubtedly a serious accident involving a motorcycle, a high reading blood alcohol content, and in wet conditions. Miss O'Brien said Stephenson had little memory of the crash due to the injuries he sustained in it. At the time, Stephenson had been just months away from completing his apprenticeship. Following the accident, he was welcomed back to his employment, and at the time of his remand into custody, he was working back as an electrician. Prosecutors had agreed. Imagine having him in your house. That just, I don't know if he was that sort of electrician where he would go to people's houses and do things, but it'd make you go cold thinking that he'd been in your house and now he's been charged with Samantha's murder. Prosecutors had agreed he ought to be penalised with a fine despite his offending while on good behaviour bond. So at the time he committed this crime, he was on a good behaviour bond. He'd already done a similar thing before. In handing down his sentence, Magistrate Guillaume Bailin said he would have imposed a jail sentence on Stephenson had he not pled guilty. It's perhaps luck alone that no one else was injured or that you were killed. Well, that's a matter of opinion. It wasn't very lucky for Samantha that he wasn't killed, was it? Stephenson is set to go on trial in Ballarat this year over the death of Miss Murphy. A lengthy pre-trial preparation and directions hearings are expected throughout the opening months of this year to iron out any potential issues before the main trial begins. So I don't think we've got a date of the main trial beginning, even now, I don't think. Let's just watch this video. So of course they did.
¿Has oído hablar del low code? Las plataformas low code permiten crear aplicaciones usando interfaces visuales y configuraciones.
God, the adrenaline with everything that's going on, it's trying to big wave for everybody. It's something you wouldn't want anyone to experience. But the police are going to be doing a press conference later today. Police Commissioner speaking. He'll enlighten us all with it. Down the track, if we've got something to say, we'll say, and I'll come and see you. But yeah, if you can just give us a bit of privacy for the rest of the day.
Is this a relief after all of these weeks?
Yeah, it is, definitely. It's like someone's just let the pressure valve off, sort of thing. Hasn't been a good nearly 5 weeks.
No, I bet it wasn't.
We're doing as good as we can. Keeping a brave face.
Can you just tell us what the last few weeks have been like?
Shit is. To be honest, yeah. So anyway, so that's all I'll say now. But yeah, so the police commissioner will do a look a bit later on.
And just lastly, do you hope to find where Samantha is? And
of course we do.
Yeah, have the police given any indication?
No, nothing.
Yeah, that's like, queen of stupid questions. Do you hope to find where Samantha is? What's supposed to say? No, I hope they never find her.
Do you have a message to perhaps the person to help?
No, I haven't got any comment on that. So thank you.
Have you been supported by the community at the moment?
Oh, the community's just been, the word go, it's just been unbelievable. You could not, the generosity and the support from the community has just been just overwhelming. Friends, family, everyone. There's just that much respect for seeing them, for us and family.
Yeah. Rallying around you.
Yeah. Thank
you.
Thanks for your time, Nick.
So at the end of the day, this poor
Her
family,
husband Robert spent the night here at Liverpool and has been
their first Christmas without Sam. That just must have been horrible. And of course, not only facing the first Christmas without Sam, but they don't know where her remains are. They can't lay her to rest. The court case still hasn't happened yet. So they're just in limbo, aren't they, at the moment? So in November, Miss Murphy's husband, Mick, attended court to observe his wife's alleged killer for the first time. And yeah, I saw that on the link. He sat in front and he glared at the video screen where Stephenson appeared. And as the matter progresses through court, police appear no closer to finding Miss Murphy's body. They remain tight-lipped over how the investigation is progressing, advising only that the search for Miss Murphy's body is continuing. Large search crews have repeatedly ventured into the wilderness around Ballarat, which contains many abandoned mine shafts throughout the year without any success. So they're still looking. It's always possible, isn't it, that one day just suddenly we'll get the news that they have found Sam's remains. I certainly hope so. It certainly helped with the court case when it comes up. Let's hope so. Hi, Laurie. So that's it. I just wanted to update you on it. This horrible man is still there. Still there. I believe I did read somewhere that his mum has been pleading with him that if he does know where Samantha is, to reveal where she is, but I don't know if that's true. Obviously, his family, I understand his family standing by him. I don't really understand his girlfriend standing by him, but, we see it happen so often. The thing is, he's pleading not guilty, and he'll plead not guilty until it's obvious that he is guilty. Then he'll say he's guilty. This happened with Ted Bundy, funnily enough. And then his wife, Ted Bundy's wife, Carol Boone, who had stuck up for him, and his family that had, stood by him all those years. But while he was pleading his innocence, they'd stood by him. And then suddenly he just confessed to it all. And how must they have felt then? His wife, Carol, she ended up dying in a nursing home with senile dementia. I'm not surprised. I mean, and nobody knows anything about Ted Bundy's daughter. That nobody knows where she is. Her identity has been successfully hidden. But for years, Carol Boone believed him. She wouldn't have, she would not have it that Ted Bundy was guilty, his own and his mum the same. And then in the end, he confessed to all of it. So how must they have felt then? So anyway, I don't know that that's going to happen in this case, but Patrick's not going to plead guilty, is he, to the actual red rum charges until he feels that he has to, I suppose. Horrible man, just putting through that family through more torment, but there you go. You cannot understand the way these twonks, the way their minds work, can you? Yeah, so let's just hope that sooner or later Samantha is found, and before the trial, hopefully. It's important, you know, that she's brought back home and they get a chance to give her a funeral, etc., isn't it? So I've got to go. I'm off now. I've got some stuff to do. I will be back later, I expect. So certainly if there's any news about anything, there's still no news about the twins in Edinburgh, as far as I know. I'm just going to check that, because the other case that we're following at the moment, unresolved, is the case of these two Hungarian twins that have gone missing by the River Dee in Edinburgh. That's a complete mystery. And as far as I know, so far this morning, there is no update. Let me just check. No. The police are saying there it's not a criminal case. Anyway, I will let you know if there is any updates throughout the day. But for now, I'm off. I'll see you again really soon. And until then, may your God always go with you. And rest in peace, Samantha. Bye.